One, two, three. Hello, everybody. Today we have an exceptional guest. In fact, we are here with Ali. Okay, Ali is from Iran. Ali is a friend I've met here at Politecnico di Milano while studying for our sessions. And Ali belongs to the set of people I consider very, very interesting. Therefore, it's really a pleasure to have you here on my podcast today. I'm very happy about it. And first of all, I would like to ask you something that's very, very, very philosophical and very, very complicated. So, who are you? How would you introduce yourself?
First of all, I'm also so happy to be part of this podcast. So interesting for me also to share my ideas so far, because I just think about something and try to develop it in my mind. So maybe just share some ideas that someone is not agree maybe, or someone do agree with this. I'm so happy to hear also later your feedbacks and everything.
Yeah. Ali is an architecture student, okay? He's studying here, and he has done several projects here. But the book you can see here is actually related to another topic. Yes. I think you can introduce it, because I have never read it. I only have heard about it, but I'm not even able to read it. So you can talk about it.
I mean, this book is written by Martin Heidegger, Being and Time, which is so famous in any discipline, I think. And I started to read this book not only for the philosophy or philosophical ideas, but also for reading this book. A book is so important for everyone, because I think since I'm alive, so I didn't die, it would be so nice to read this book, because also as a text of the human, as a human text, is so fascinating, this book. So maybe later we can come back to this book and talk about it.
I think it could be super interesting, because you're mentioning since I am alive, and your architectural project, I think it's very, very interesting, because it's about asymmetry. You were telling me about it.
Yes.
And I think that's very, very intriguing, because in Milan, one of my favorite places is the Cimitero Monumentale,
Si.
And when I say something like that, people usually look at me like I'm a weirdo, they're like, why asymmetry? Because in my opinion, it's like an open-air museum, okay?
Yes.
And even though it's full of dead people, it's actually so alive, okay? There is such an alive culture. So this is why I like it. But I wanted to ask you, why did you choose such an original topic for your project?
Yes, as an architect, I was thinking about doing a project which is so cool for me, and I really like it. And also I wanted to connect this to my subject and my mindset. In the while I was talking to my psychoanalyst, I usually repeat death in my sentences so much, and I was thinking about death every time. But she asked me why death, because everyone can have different desire.
Okay.
So why death or dying is your desire in your life? And I never thought about it before. I asked her, let me think about it. I don't know exactly where it does come from. This idea that I have in my mind, that always I was thinking about, I can accept death because I'm toward death anyways, so I can accept it. One day can happen for me.
So.
And I was also really fine with it. I don't scare about it. I didn't really fear. I didn't have any fear about it.
You didn't fear that? How come? What's the reason?
Because I read a book by The name is Destination of Soul, and
Okay.
also Journey of the Soul, written by Michael Newton.
Okay.
Yes, is American writer. He used this kind of hypnotism,
Okay,
and
yes, I get it.
taking people to the alpha situation and alpha B situation, that people are unaware kind of, and they talk about their unconsciousness, and one things that they never be aware about it. So when I read this book, I understood what is the journey of the soul. For example, I know there are three important questions that everybody in life or every human thinker talk about it. Where we does come from,
Okay.
why we are here, and where we are going to
Okay.
at the end. When I read these two books, I understood exactly where we are exactly does come from, and where we are going to, because it's all talking about after you die. So he talked to the people like hypnotism, and they talk about they were kind of unconsciousness, and they could talk about previous life that they had. So also I'm coming from kind of religious family,
Okay.
like everyone, I think.
Yeah.
And then we are totally free to think about it. What is the religious? What is God? Or do we want to choose this idea or not? Do we want to believe this convention or not? So I also after read that book that was talking about journey of soul and destination of the soul. I
Okay.
kind of accept how we can die. And where we exactly going, and how this process working when we are dying, how we detach from our body as a soul. So when exactly we coming again to the world and to the universe. So death kind of acceptable for me.
Okay, that's interesting, because the way I was raised, I always thought that fearing death is actually healthy. And sometimes I just think that people should fear death more. I think that people should just be reminded that, thank God, we are gonna die, and there's just two things that make us all equals, and that are that we fall in love and we die. So I think that's super important that we remind us that, and also our whole psychology is built on the fear of death, like on finding food to not starve, on finding a proper accommodation. And now that we don't fear death anymore, like I don't know you, but when I get up, my problems are my exams, the job search, that girl I like and she's ignoring me, but not death itself. And I think that's interesting because our mind is projected to actually more basic stuff. So I want to ask you, how do you face this dichotomy between being evoluted, not fearing death, but still having a sort of primitive mindset?
I want to say I'm not really agree with we are aware of death,
Okay.
and
Sorry, what?
I mean you said something about death, that everyone in their mind thinking about death,
Say.
and we are going to death because of that's why, because we are making accommodates, we are making food, or we are trying to be alive,
Say.
like survival things. So for me, this also common with animals. Every animal wants to be alive, you know.
Sure.
They are kind of aware of something that something can kill. They killed them, like us. For example, if we don't eating food, it's kind of we are dangerous situation to be close to death. But the only species in the world that is like the only entity in the world that can think about death is only human.
Yeah.
So the only human can think about it and make this conception as a natural experience, as a natural, I don't know how to, as a natural fact. So we think about it and we try to imagine it how it is. When my psychoanalyst asked me why death is your desire, I didn't think about it, why exactly. And then one night I feel wind in my face, I feel I'm alive, I feel this kind of happiness that I have, or even jealousness, or even sadness. All these feelings can happen when we are alive. So being alive by itself is so much more important than death. Because death, in my mind, is only one moment, one experience that also Epicure talk about it. We never experience death.
Okay.
Because when we die, we are not still alive, so we cannot
we don't even
experience
notice it. Okay.
We just know what is death because we can see people can die.
But I never liked Epicure, studying it in high school, because I think he misses an important point. Several times I've seen the soul dying way before the body. And I'm not I'm talking about geopolitics right now. When I see some of the world leaders, I really think that their soul has already died and the body will come next, whatever. So I think that's the crucial point. The death of the body is something natural. The death of the soul is very, very difficult to treat because it can happen and you don't even realize it, but you're experiencing it. So how do you think we can acknowledge it, we can face it, if you agree with me about it?
Yes. But let me answer another question that you had in your ideas. Before also you talk about society and how we are living in a society about be alive. Okay. And also now you said so sometimes their soul, some souls can be died before yes, the body alive, the body died. Yes. So I want to say everyone even think about die, or even don't think about die, or even in an ethical way, or in a like kind of ethical things that you are good a man or not. For example, you are a president who kill people or not. Doesn't matter. Still, your entity, your being is living in this world. And also, even not as a politician, even as a simple person, as a profession, a person who are trying to find their desire. Everyone, these beings are representation of something else of the human. So let me tell you this. When you are doing something in a society and you are working as a person to develop a society, or develop a government or everything, you are part of this system that you are representing yourself in a different way. So, I mean, everyone has its own being that sometimes can be lost, or even you can reach it easily. When you are lost, you are not thinking about your being.
No, here I lost you, sorry.
Yes.
What you mean, like, losing your being? Can you explain it for me, please, because I'm losing you.
Yes. For example, the politician that you said that can kill people easily. In my mind, they are losing their soul, as you said. So this means their soul is died before, which means they are also representing themselves in a different way. Because by itself, human does not come from here. I mean, they are not coming for doing bad things. Every human, but their childhood or their unconsciousness and how they develop, or how they grew up, every surrounding or everything that they are surrounded by, they create these situation for their beings that they cannot represent themselves as a human. So they are representing themselves as a killer, they are presenting themselves as an officer, they are presenting themselves as an architect. So everyone can represent themselves in a different way. So I think since you're alive, you can think about your being and why you are here and who you are exactly. Since you understand this moment, you can match yourself like soul and body to the one way that you said before.
Okay, and given this assumption that still I think that soul can die,
Yes.
do you think that if we don't kill our soul can last forever, even outlive the body? Or you think that in any case the soul has a limit? Because I'll tell you what I think. Even though I am Catholic, both by religion and culture, not only I think the soul is mortal, but I hope the soul is mortal. Because I think this limit I have to my spirit actually enhances the value of my life. So this is what this is what I want to ask you. Do you think there is a limit to the soul in any case, or it can continue forever?
Interesting question. Honestly, I don't know that much about soul and about another word or about these spiritual things. I don't know that much about it. But I think everything in this world has a limitation.
Okay.
Everything. For example, my body has limitation to don't grow more. For example, this is the limitation of my hand. So it could be smaller or bigger. This is my limitation. Everything has a limitation, even table, soul, everything. I'm not sure about...
Everything has a limitation?
Yes.
Can I love someone in forever? Not forever, because I don't think love can last forever, but the intensity of my feeling, can it be infinite? Or I don't know, something else. Can my art, my expression be so powerful to have infinite power? Do you think it's possible in this kind of sense that something does not have a limit?
I mean, the conception of infinity can happen.
Okay.
We can think about something can be infinite. For example, some ideas that's even coming from, I don't know, 2,000 years ago. Everyone, even in the past, we can understand them. Aristotle, all the philosophers, I don't know, Socrates or everyone. So something can be infinite, for sure. But I think this limitation also is part of the whole universe. Since, because at the end, when you see a painting, you already see a limitation. When you read the book, you already see the limitation.
Why? Where's the limitation in the book?
Because Heidegger talked about Dasein.
Okay.
And since we can agree with this word, we can call ourselves Dasein. Dasein use language to explain everything, understand everything through language. Also, Nietzsche said we are surrounded by language. We cannot get rid of language. So language by itself is so limited. It even is representing something else.
I agree
if
with
we
that.
say, for example, chair, there is no any inherent essence between the word of chair and this chair. Because we just have a convention to call this chair. Because also this coming from a society. We can talk about something and we can have a convention about something. This is also different with the animals because they cannot come with the really big societies. For example, bees can have a society to do something, but they cannot tell to the king, we are asking you why you are not free, that we can kill you and we can be a republic society. They cannot do this. Human, because we are using language, so we can have a convention about something. We can create rules, we can create disciplines, we can have countries. Because all these are imaginary facts, they are not a natural fact. For example, a country borders, we just convince this is the border of the country. So, if you see language, how is so, how do you say?
Concentrated, compressed.
Yes, kind of controlled us.
Okay, see.
We are already limited. We can talk about universe, we can talk about million, and we can call any simple planet in different million of galaxies, we can call them, but we never reach them. We never reach them because we are not able to reach this.
And
just we can imagine it.
And what about the universe we have within ourselves? Because I think there are two kind of infinites. One, I'm not sure, it's the one you just mentioned, the vast, immense universe we have surrounding us, but I don't know about it. On the other side, I think there is a small infinite universe within each of ourselves. And I agree with you that each language has a limitation, and we have to face this paradox. We are infinite, okay? We have an infinite universe within ourselves, but the language we use is limited, so we can never fully comprehend it. However, I think this is a good thing because this leads us to look for new kind of languages that can always approach infinite even more. And I'm not talking just about languages in the per se, but I'm talking about art, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about people laughing. I think even laughing is a sort of language that gets so deep. Do you think, how do you think we can really overcome the main limitation of language? In your opinion, what's the main tool we can use to solve this problem?
Actually, so interesting topic. I think, let me think a little bit about it. Because I'm not really agree with at the same time, a limitation of language. I will tell you. So you know what? Let's first talk about representational words.
Okay.
For example, text, story, painting, music, all of them, they are using their language.
See, I agree.
To create new words. So we can see through the history, all these guys, all the painters, they are trying to develop language, their language. They are trying to develop their language to be more
To communicate.
Yes, to communicate to the discourse of the time.
Okay.
In a focal terms. So we can see even language by itself, like text, writing, is also trying to develop its limitations. At the end, language as an autonomous concept is limited.
Okay.
Because every time, even we develop a language in different way, I don't know, we create new language, even AI. This is the new language of the this contemporary era. This is the new language created by us. Is also limited by itself.
Okay, I agree on AI.
But it
being
can be
limited.
developed if, in any case. For example, our language developed different. For example, only Martin Heidegger create new words for the language. So this means development of the language. But itself is limited because as soon as you use any word, you are representing something else.
Okay. But that's, I agree that using just the thing that Martin Heidegger has to use words, and each word can represent something different to me and to you, is a limit. Okay. But isn't that actually an opportunity? Because when I see,
sure.
when I see this book, I say this is a small universe.
Yes.
But it's a small universe for me. Then another person might read it, and then it's completely different for him. So, really, every time someone approaches this masterpiece, a new world is created. So, in this sense, I think Martin Heidegger manages to overcome this limit of language.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then we can find
I
ourselves.
totally agree. This is because interesting, actually, so interesting. I think that we can talk about Nietzsche.
Okay.
Nietzsche said there is no truth. There is no any truth.
Okay.
There are so many eyes. There are so many perspectives. So there are so many truths. There is no only one truth. So there is no truth. Even if we want to explain something about something truth, we have to use language.
Sure.
So we already know language by itself is lying, is representing something. So there is no truth. But art, literature, and philosophy, in my mind, even science, these kind of more, how do you say, master discipline, I would call them, they are trying to represent themselves, or represent their eyes, or represent another word, as you said, to show people. For example, if I talk about my word with you, the word that I see from my eyes, my feelings, smelling, tasting, all these sentences. So my word is different with you.
For sure.
If I write it, if I paint it, if I trying to represent it in a different way, I would say I release this word to the people to understand. That's why one of the reasons that I read book is only this. I can see the word that they saw before.
I agree. I agree to this point, and even to the extent that in the moment you are publishing a book, of course you own it. You're going to you have the rights. You're going to receive the fees from it. But this book is everybody's. Okay, this is as mine, as yours, as Heidegger's, and I think this is very, very important to remember that culture doesn't belong to anybody, but is everybody's. That, for example, we are in Milan. The cathedral, the Duomo, is as mine, that I was born and raised in Milan, as yours, that you come from Tehran.
Yes.
Okay. And I think that sometime that's something people should be reminded of. Okay, just I think sometimes people just forget it.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, how do you approach this feeling as an architect? As an architect, when you do a project and you acknowledge that once you create it, it's not yours anymore. How do you live it, and how does it influence your work?
Honestly, since I'm trying to understand my work, since I'm trying to understand what exactly who I am, since I'm thinking about everything around me more and more, and I actually try to think more. I jumped or I dropped into the philosophy and art history and theory, because for me they were even literature. For me nowadays text is one of the most important things that human can do as writing, as an author, because it's like a really interesting archive about the world. For example, if you read I don't know, one of the story of Dostoevsky.
Okay. I only read the White Nights of Dostoevsky.
Yes.
I have them in my library.
I mean, even if you read this book, for me it's like I amazed.
Okay.
How do you say? I impressed.
Sí.
Really impressed.
Yeah. I
even
recall
this book. So I really appreciate people who are thinking about how they can understand different words by reading, by watching the art, by reading about these kind of things. So important. And also, since I dropped to the philosophy and art, I'm not really connected. I'm not really connecting these ideas to the architecture.
Okay.
As soon as we combine different disciplines in my mind, we are not reaching really good results.
Really?
Yes,
Why?
we have some references in architecture that architects try to combine really deep philosophical ideas to architecture and represent it. At the end, it's kind of superficial. Not really superficial. It's so intellectual at the end.
Sure.
But this should be totally autonomous, and also that should be totally autonomous as a different disciplines in my mind.
Oh, this is interesting.
So I'm not really thinking about putting my philosophical ideas or how do I see the world to the architecture, because architecture by itself has its own language. It can work perfectly by its language, its elements. Really simple elements like a word for literature, like a vocabulary for the literature. So it's all semiotics and syntax of the text and also architecture. So it can work by itself. Also, some people do it, but I'm not really agree with this.
Ah, okay. This is interesting, because once finance professors of mine told me, in your life, you don't have to be good at one thing. You have to be good at two. And then you may like finance and philosophy, for example, and you have to try to combine them, okay? Try a point to merge them. That's how you can really develop yourself. So, and I was thinking, for example, D'Annunzio is an Italian poet. I think he's very, very bad, but he's been very, very important for our history. And he was so egocentric that in his accommodation, in his house, the doors were so small that once you were entering it, you had to somehow kneel, and acknowledging his importance. Okay, that was the level of egocentrism he had. But I think this also is an architectural example of how you can express these two sides.
Yes.
And how did you? Hey Furkan.
Ciao, aggiusto la fotocamera.
Grazie. Ci siamo ripresi entrambi, vero?
Sì, ma tu eri un po' tagliato.
Ah, cazzo. Ah, fatto bene, grazie.
Latest, bro.
Top. Do you?
Posso
Sì,
aggiustare
sì.
un po'?
But do you wanna join?
I will.
Bro, can you bring something like this for me?
Cigarette?
Yes. Thank you.
Can I put this a little bit more down?
Sì, sì, certo.
Così?
Sì, sì, come ti pare.
Penso ora sia veramente molto bello.
Grazie zio. Allora io in queste robe qua I always fucked up. Always, like every time I post
Bro,
a
I think
video.
if you don't like this
No, but-
video, we can record it again because I can be also ready better.
No, but not in, like every time I post a video, there is always like they always tell me, oh, but the camera was put in the wrong position. Like, yeah, I have several talents. I could never direct a movie because I can never spot the correct angle.
Actually,
never.
this is also interesting. Yeah, this is also interesting.
I started to not even my face is cut into. I mean, it happens.
It's fine, yes.
Sì, sì, sì,
No,
sì, sì.
I totally agree because also when also
grazie,
photography created, I mean invented by the human, even they understood they can cut or frame reality like photography. When you are taking photo, sometimes half of the people are inside the frame. Sometimes half of the things. So everything inside the photo, sometimes they are not really perfectly or idealistic way. Yes.
Yeah.
But before photography, painters, they usually try to create really ideal body in a really important or crazy perspective, totally ideal perspective, which it was totally cut by like Raphael, School of Athens. If you search it, you can see everybody, every figure has a really ideal body.
Okay.
So is also representing something else. But after photography, they understood even they can cut people in the painting. Even they can cut, they can have a half of the body in the painting, like Degas in 17th century. Even Edvard Manet, everyone do this cutting people in the frame. That's even people they are not really perfect.
Do you know? I love paintings, but I'm not a huge fan of photography, for example, because I think that photography is hypocrite. There is a high hypocrisy in photography, because if I take a picture of something, I'm trying to steal that something from the flow of time. Okay, I'm saying, okay, at least this picture is going to stay the same. Okay. Take a picture of me. I will get old, okay, and everything, but that picture will be stay the same. And in my opinion, that's not correct, because even though the picture itself doesn't change, I change, and when I change, I also evolve the way I look at the picture. So, I mean, maybe the picture is the same, but the lenses I'm looking at it through are going to change, so I'm not stealing anything from the flow of time. So it's useless in my opinion. What do you think? Do you like photography, for example? Do you have a different opinion on it?
Yes, totally different.
Okay.
Let me explain you the things that has happened to me to think more about something.
Sì.
I found myself Do you want me to make it short or
No,
even
no,
the
no, no,
whole
never,
story?
never. Absolutely never.
Actually, it's super long, but maybe I can tell some part later. Maybe in another episode or
See.
different things we can
Fair
talk
enough.
about. Yes, another part. I remember Kierkegaard that he was saying. He was sitting in the park and saw people who were they just doing something for the society.
Okay.
Like imagine, I don't know, an officer. And they are not really bothering. They are not annoyed by the situation of the life. They just living as a human and then eating and die.
Okay.
Why they are not thinking and why they are not really annoyed by this society and these technological things that you have to work in the society to be alive. And he said, maybe I can be a philosopher to talk about new ideas about the existence of the human and bother them and annoy them to think about themselves, to think about their entity, to think about their being, because he was the first person who talked about existentialism philosophy. Kierkegaard, yes, Norwegian philosopher.
And but no, you
Yes.
can go.
Yes, and I thought since before I was in Iran, I was doing something in a society. I was really involved to the society. Everything that I has done before, I thought I did something for the whole society. But here, every time that I thinking about migration and this traveling that I have, because I'm not really thinking about migration, because just wanted to have a different experience to come here,
Okay.
to come abroad. So I understood myself here more as an spectator,
Okay.
not as a person who is really involved to the society. Because always when I was here in Patio or even close different areas, I never involved to the people.
Okay.
I never involved to the society really doing something for this society.
So, let me.
I understood myself as an as a spectator.
But do you think that, as a spectator, you're not participating to society? Because I don't like Kierkegaard, because his system is out, black or white. There's no like a third way, like in Hegel, for example.
Yes.
Do you think you can actually spectate without actually participate to it? Do you think it's possible? Because to me, even if you look at something, at least you are participating to the existence of something. I don't know. If you spectate here at patio exists in your eyes. So in that moment, I think at least you're creating, you're contributing to the creation. So sorry, I wanted to,
No.
I interrupted you, but I wanted to add this reflection to your
Yes.
speech, because I think it's very, very beautiful.
I understood actually what you mean. I think I don't know exactly how can I answer this question, but for myself, as a subject in this world, as a person who as a thinking mind in the world, in the
See.
universe. So I found myself as a spectator to see the world. So whether I involved to the society or not, I feel like to be a spectator to see this world, because as soon as I understood this idea in my mind, I thought I'm exactly exist in my eyes and watching this world and any picture of the world create my mind, create my history, create my background, create my memories. So spectator for me is like a taking photo
Okay.
I just wanted to, yes, back to the topic that you asked me. This introduction for me started to think about images. At the end, any image that we are looking, there are so many objects around us.
See. Okay.
Imagine this picture, only this one. Even when people are watching this video, there are so many objects here, so many memories. Every line, every any small stone, everything here has different memory. This is connected to the people who are who've been there and doing some action. And also in their memory, they had this object also. When you see all these images in your mind that you are creating every day, that you are watching every day, that you are like a spectator to see the world, bring me this idea to think more about, okay, so I understood maybe I can think about world as an image. I can think about my eyes. How do I see the world? If I want to explain my world, I would say I see world like an image. So many images after each other that is just submitting or register in our mind. We are putting in our matrix in our mind. So anytime, like a memory, we just back to the matrix and find it and watch it again. So I found eyes as an important part in the feeling of the world.
Okay. One last question, then I set you free. I really like this statement you've just made, and I want to ask you how did this representation of a world influenced your experience, your journey from Iran to Italy, which I think must have been very paradigm changing for you.
So interesting question. I didn't change at all.
Interesting.
When I came here,
See?
like 2 years and some months ago, I didn't feel anything.
Okay.
I didn't feel anything. No different.
come?
Just people changed. Something like this. Once, I was walking with one of my friends. And we went to Segrate
Sì,
to
Segrate.
see monument of the Aldo Rossi.
Sorry?
Yes. Aldo Rossi monument.
I don't know Aldo Rossi.
Yeah, Aldo Rossi is the important architect from Italy, Milanese, yes.
I didn't
Lombardia.
know. I didn't know him.
Yes, because you are not doing architecture. Even I really recommend you to go to Modena to see the cemetery of Aldo Rossi.
Aldo Rossi. Ok,
San
grazie.
Cataldo, yes. In Segrate, I saw people, they were doing something like daily routine things, like everyday life. And I saw this object that was broken, kind of. These elements were broken,
Ok.
this monument. And I saw this frame as a movie.
Ok.
And I thought, oh, this is so interesting. This is like a movie that I can see now.
Like, that is because a movie is a set of images, but all the images were at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
So I thought, so my eyes is like someone is sitting behind my eyes and watching this movie. That I'm the person who are watching this movie, my life.
Very fascinating.
So I changed totally through the image of the words. So I'm trying to understand how we can see the word as images, and what does it mean, these images, for who we are taking these images, because I think every person has different movies in their eyes, in their mind, because every person are different. Every person has different memories, has different idea. You know, even how do I see this object is totally different with you, because you had this connection with this object, even you remember everything. But when I see this object, it's just a bag.
Sì.
Just a very nice small bag.
Sì.
So I thought maybe these images that we are taking in our eyes
Okay.
every time,
Sì.
every moment, is my mind, is how do I see the world. So I'm trying to think about it and write about it and develop it in, I don't know how do you call it, maybe I would call it my autobiography, which is not only about my biography as a, how do you say, chronological way, my experiences, but mostly is about my mind, mostly about how do I see the world. It's like my autobiography for my mind, for my cognito, for my mind.
Well, this is a new concept for me.
Maybe
I
yes.
think it's very beautiful, yeah. But I will have time to. I will need time to get it. The autobiography of the mind, but it's very, very beautiful. For sure, you have sold me the Aldo Rossi. Now I am interested about it. For
Yes.
sure, now I got to
Yes.
see it. So I thank you very much for your time. I think it's been
Thank you.
super interesting,
Thank you.
and really I couldn't hope for more from this conversation. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and also thank you people who are watching this. I don't know, it's at the end it's interesting for them or not, but hopefully the things that I see in this kind of things that you are doing,
See?
or even people doing, for me is like a making archive of the human.
Sì, sì. For me, it's like a diary.
It's so interesting when I saw archive of the human. Imagine this is a video, and someone can watch it some years later, and they can understand even my body, how it's look like. So interesting for me sometimes that I see just human, just body of the human, just face, just how is color of the hair, and how we colored, how we be like this. So interesting to see people. So maybe this movie also is like.
We
don't
shall
know.
see. I hope so. I hope it's going
Thank
to
you
be
so
better.
much.
Thank you.
Anyways, yes. Tomorrow, 2 days ago, I had this chance to talk to one of my friends, Maria, here in Patio. That we were talking about something about my thesis.
Okay.
That is about cemetery. At the end, design a cemetery and a book of death, which is writing part. I asked her to read my proposal for my thesis, and we talk about this. And suddenly we jump to some different planets, like paintings and literature and this kind of really important things. And in one of the Francis Goya's paintings, we found really interesting sentence
Okay.
that brought me this idea that I want to tell you. Maria showed me some photos of her grandmother's house.
Okay.
That and also she showed me one of the paintings on the wall. That she just remembered professor or tutor of the student that the one who draw these paintings.
Okay.
So that's called Tintor.
Il Tintoretto. Of course. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, he basically invented a sort of color. That's
Yes.
why. Yeah.
Yes.
He's one of the goat of
Yes.
of Italian paint.
Exactly, late Italian Renaissance period in like 50-30.
Yeah, I think he
As
was,
mannerism also, at that time it was mannerism.
I think he was like close to Venice, like a school
Yes.
of Venice, and he invented a variation of red.
Yes.
That's where my knowledge about Tintoretto
Yes.
stops. I don't know anything
This
else.
is totally true because mannerism also has happened in Rome. Sorry, in Venezia.
See?
Because we had two different areas in Italy at that time, Venezia and Firenze.
Sì, sì, sì.
Venezia was more. Okay, let me tell you another things. Nietzsche talked about art in the history of art, and he found all these art and paintings. They had two these different variations. One of them are a god of the Apollonius,
Ok.
and the other god is Dionysius. I'm not really pronounce them perfect, but we can find them easily. So he thought Apollon is a god of the reason and rational and very mathematical ideas. So
The order, the sun. Okay.
exactly. And Dionysius, it's so funny. Let me try to tell it. Dionysius. Yes. Is the god of the excitement, is the god of the wine, is the god of the all these colorful and feelings and really intentionally things that happen really, how do you say it, ontological kind
Yeah,
of.
literally the goat.
Exactly. So Nietzsche talked about all the painters, they only have some rational or reason, like Raphael or Michelangelo.
Si.
On the other side, we have so many mannerism painters in Venezia when they were kind of Dionysius, that they
I
were
didn't know
more
this.
feeling and more excitement, or also more expressionism in the color, especially. And
know
that
that.
time Tintoretto found this special red color that is exactly called it Venezia red color, I think, in mannerism.
Well, I didn't know. I think I didn't know this differentiation.
Yes, this is the Venezia
very
and
interesting.
Firenze. Yes,
very
in
interesting.
Renaissance time, and in Venezia, I mean in Firenze, Renaissance has happened,
Okay.
and painters in Rome and this part. And in Venezia, mannerism tried to be a antithesis about Renaissance. So the painter of this painting on the wall of Maria's grandmother house, it was a student of Tintoretto. We tried to find it, and suddenly we understood this movement is like an unusual reality, because later in 18th century they found a movement which is called pre-Raphaelite.
Okay.
So pre-Raphael school.
Okay. When is this
It's
movement?
18th and 19th century pre-Raphaelite,
Okay.
which is a crossover the art in this time. And I can tell you what is this pre-Raphaelite, because we need it about perspective. So this group that returned to the complexity of Quattrocento Italian art,
Okay.
they rejected what they regarded as the mechanistic approach first adopted by Mannerists. Artists who succeed Raphael and Michelangelo, the brotherhood.
Sì, sì.
Yes, the
Messi and
brother-
Ronaldo, basically.
Yes, exactly. So the brotherhood believed the classical poses and elegant composition of Raphael in academic teaching of art. Hence, the name pre-Raphaelite, one of the paintings that we talk about it was Ophelia,
Okay.
which by Friedrich Wilhelm Theodor Husserl. We search pre-Raphaelite, and I recommend you everyone search pre-Raphaelite on internet, and you can find Ophelia painting by this Friedrich, a painting inspired by Shakespeare Hamlet, especially the character Ophelia, who descended into the madness and ultimately drowned.
Oh, my girl.
When you search and see this painting,
See?
you can see really unusual word. It's
What
totally
kind of
different.
unusual word? What are you?
Actually, I would love
referring
to have a laptop and search it. And
Okay.
even if you want, you can in editing you can put it. Like, yes, just write the name. And yes, and also another painting that we found it very interesting. It was yes. I mean, when you see these paintings, it's like a super romantic moment in other, in a situation that you never thought about it. It's really romantic, and also you can see really specific colors, like red hair by the women, really
Okay.
specific, colorful, and really unusual word about the texture. Also, you can see different fabric. A small piece of fabric is super detailed, that you cannot even see this is the reality, this is the picture, or this is the in a sense we can call it a particular, a tragic, romantic, really vibrant and so brilliant, colorful,
Okay.
and real lighting.
And if you want, I have a question for
Yes,
you,
yes.
but
This
I
is
don't
the
wanna
last
lo-
part. This is the
okay,
last part of the.
Let's
this
proceed then.
yes.
I'll have
Do you want? Yes.
go.
Okay. If you face these pre-Raphaelite paintings, you cannot immediately jump into the word.
Okay.
It's like
It's not
the
immediate,
painting
okay.
that you have to be behind the canvas.
Okay.
You have to be behind it because it's really unreachable word in my mind. At the same time, this is so dark. When you see this brightness, very tragic, very particular, very tragic, romantic art. When you think about this, at the same time we were talking with Maria about it, and suddenly we found Francisco Goya, Spanish painter.
See.
It's really dark. His paints in a second half of his life. If you search Francisco Goya,
Yeah, all the small.
do you want me to
Paintings.
just show you later?
I can put them like
Yes.
on while editing the video, but I think people will recall from high school, because in Italy
Yes.
we tend to study them the pictures like the bats
Yes.
coming from the
Yes,
a young
yes,
lady's
yes.
mind while she's.
That's the
I think
famous one.
she's- Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the famous one.
But also there is Chrono
Yes.
eating his own children,
Yes.
which really hits hard. I think the most struggling one to see is the execution. There is a famous execution painted by Goya, where you can really feel the desperation of the ones who are going to be executed. So these are the three paintings I. Okay. So what
And
what
the
reflection
last
do you
part.
have? Si.
The reflection, exactly. This is the reflection part. Because after talking to Maria, I was thinking maybe I should write it. I can talk to you about it. Because so interesting that I talk to you, you bring me so many ideas, and I go for them, and I found new things. And in one of the prints that Francisco Goya have done, there is a sentence that if you search it, the image gonna come up. Yes.
Certo.
He tried. I mean, he painted on the stone, like not
Okay.
painted, like excavating, engraving on the stone, and he wrote this. The sleep, I mean, this is the point that I wanted to talk to you.
See. I'm
The
listening.
sleep of reason produces monsters.
Okay.
I think this is a sentence based on this impressive and ultimately interesting Spanish artist Francisco Goya.
Do you agree with this part? Is this the full quotation? Do you want to read more? Okay.
This is my kind of maybe interpretation or even thinking about it and search about it. Do you want me to explain what does it mean in my mind? What I get
I
from
need
this
it,
reason?
please. Yes, please.
So
do
the
it.
sleep of reason produces a monster. It is widely interpreted as a commentary. No. This part. It suggests that when reason is absent, irrationality and fully take over, leading to harmful consequences or monsters.
Do you agree with this statement?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting, because I do not. So I want to hear more about what you think about it.
If you want, because I speak a lot, you can tell me, you can start, I can listen, then I can respond you.
Okay. So I really like Nietzsche analysis because you have the contraposition between rationality with Apollo,
Yes.
and then you have irrationality with Dionysus.
Dionysus, yes, exactly. Thank you.
And in my opinion, it's important to have a balance with them.
Okay.
Like yin and yang, okay, using another culture reference. My opinion, there is a problem where when a side overcomes the other. And I'm going to tell you about a specific moment, okay?
Yes.
The end
Please.
of the 19th century, okay, you have positivismus in Europe. Positivismus believes that progress, technological advancement will bring wealth, health, and overall improve the conditions of living of humanity. It's true from a certain point of view, because of course technology improves societies, I'm not denying that. However, I also believe that the celebration of rationality in this kind of sense also led to First World War, because basically all this technological advancement was in favor of building new machineries, new weapons. Therefore, I believe that positivismus had a strong contribution to First World War. I think that it completely jeopardized the relationship between West and nature, because, for example, we had some crazy projects about completely dehydrating the Mediterranean Sea, okay? Yeah, to connect Europe with Africa, okay? And improve. Yeah, imagine, okay,
So crazy.
yeah, and that's something that ancient Greeks, from which Nietzsche inspired, would never have thought about, because they were all about the respect of nature, the relationship between man and nature. Therefore, I do not agree with Goya's celebration of rationality. I believe that it's crucial to have a balance between irrational and rational.
Okay, so nice, very nice. So interesting, because I totally agree with you.
Okay.
I'm totally agree, because I also think human, in a really radical way, overcoming the nature. We can change everything. We can change rain. We can change all the nature. We can change the human genetics. We can change animals' genetics. we totally overcome the nature. We reach the far space, actually, in human history. So we totally overcoming nature. I mean, this is the happening that is what is it? I mean, how do you say, like, it is what is it? So how we can think about it in my mind, because for me positivism and reason maybe has some different or distinction. Because positivism, it's more about science, it's more about how we can questioning something and we try to answer it correctly.
Okay.
But in reason, we think about something or questioning something that we never reach the answer and we never understand how we become for this question. So it just is, even sometimes philosophers or reasonable or reason, how do you call this, rational ideas,
Okay.
through the history, they try to answer to some question, but the answer always, they also prove this that is not true. So always is incorrect. So why I'm disagree with you because of this. So for me, reason is more questioning the word, questioning something that we don't need to even answer to that, just question something, some new ideas. But positivism or science try to answer correctly everything, and every time even reason can overcome the science or positivism, and vice versa at the same time. But the things is always science is also weak, because every time another science, another new ideas overcome the previous one. So even this is not really a stable or fixed ideas.
Okay.
Every time reason and yes, for me, I can explain it like this. I don't want to. So
Okay, I
that's why
see your
disagree
point.
with you. So reason for me is, and also for me, this reason makes some ideas like reading books.
Sorry.
Thinking.
Bella Pedro.
Ciao, ciao,
Okay. Let's see.
ciao, ciao,
Ciao
Giuliano.
Pedro, ciao ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Sorry, he was leaving.
Yes, yes. And for me, this sentence makes sense because when the reason is absent, even when you're not thinking about yourself. I mean, the whole things that I wanted to tell you is about thinking. You know, thinking about thinking.
Okay.
Thinking as the autonomous action of the human. For example, when you're swimming, you're doing something. And sometimes I ask myself, what does it mean living?
Okay.
Anytime when I'm asking myself, I said, for example, living means walking, breathe. This is all function of the body. This is all functions. What is exactly does mean living? How do you explain living? For example, if someone asks you, how do you explain your living?
Okay, that's a good question.
Yes.
For me, living, it's matter that acknowledges its own existence. Okay. In my opinion, living begins. Oh, it's a very hard question, but yeah, I would go with that. When matter acknowledges its own existence. However, this is more philosophical because, in this kind of sense, plants are not living beings. Okay, so I think there is a scientific definition of living beings, which I don't recall at the moment.
Yes.
But what I think it's very important is the difference between living and surviving.
Yes. Kinda. Even.
And what I like about living is that it encompasses useless stuff, because surviving is just about basic needs. Okay, living begins when you need useless stuff, like, I don't know, playing sports, reading, laughing, eating well, okay?
Even working.
Art, yeah.
Even working.
That's a good point.
Everything. Everything is exactly.
And so overall, that's how I would define living. What's
Yes.
your concept of living?
Actually, I every time ask this question myself, but I didn't know in which side I can explain it. For example, from the body side, that when I'm living means I can move my body. When I'm living, I mean this is also part of the living. That I'm walking, that I'm breathing, but I don't know exactly. But I think I wanted to refer to Dasein by Heidegger, because I can explain you in a really simple sentence that he wrote, and I think for him living is Dasein. That means we always toward something.
Okay, to add something, to
We
enhance, to improve,
always
okay.
we are in a mood.
I like it. I like it.
So interesting, because Dasein means there, and
Yeah.
das means
Being there, yeah,
being, yes,
Dasein.
being there, yes. And you're always moving and coming. And he said also all your memories behind you is always in front of you, because you always see them again.
I like it. I like this
So
dynamic.
Amazing, yes. This dynamism, exactly. This dynamism bring this exactly dynamic of the living.
Yeah.
And then you should ask yourself, who are you and what do you want to do exactly? What, you know, this is really simple question, really. But I always asking myself, what exactly I want to do today?
That's a fair
You know, just,
question.
the things that I really want.
But
Yes, maybe some point we missed, or I don't
no,
know.
I have a question for you regarding
also.
Heidegger,
Okay.
because in the later stage of his career as philosopher, after Sein und Zeit
Yes,
and
yes.
the reason about Dasein, he moves a firm critics towards the age of technology.
Yes, yes.
That is when we are living right now,
Yes.
which in my opinion is my favorite part of Heidegger's speech, honestly.
The second part of
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
right.
the reason about because it's more related to my normal days, okay? The Dasein, the whole concept of being is very difficult to grasp without a philosophical background, but the firm critics he moves towards the technological age that we're currently living at, where he basically argues that we cannot live without technology, okay? So we cannot choose to avoid technology, otherwise we are completely cut out from society.
Okay.
And that's very deep if you think about it. Like it shows a complete different kind of alienation, because there are many jobs that a machine can do better than us. Okay, a lot of jobs. Okay, and that's horrible to acknowledge. And I mean, in my opinion, that's a complete over empowerment of rationality.
Okay.
That's very related to what you were saying previously. Don't you think that right now we are living in a world that's too rational, okay? And that leads to some spreads of violence, of cruelty.
So interesting. I want to talk about something that has happened in Paris, and also about the rationality of this time, and also about the second part of the Heidegger life.
Yes,
remind me, please. So the first one I want to respond you is the Paris, because we went to Paris just a few months ago, and we met two old men that they were selling books Usually it has happened along the river in
Okay.
Paris. Yes, that old guys, they are selling some philosophical or something interesting
Very
books.
nice.
Yes, some old one. And we talked to them and I asked them, do you have this book, Jean-Paul Sartre books and in English? And he said no. And we just hang out a little bit, and at the end he said very how do you say, a wise sentence.
What kind of statement?
He said, you know what, this is so cool that we read all these books, and so interesting that we read also Sartre, Camus, and I don't know, even Arist. It's so nice that we see Nietzsche.
See.
But it's already, we are living the things that they were talking about.
See, I completely agree.
It's already over.
No, do you think it's over?
No, no, no.
Okay.
He didn't also said this. I mean, over doesn't mean it's done. I mean, we are already living it. And he said, it's too late. Yes.
Too late.
So
Do you think it's too late?
I mean, he said, this is so nice that you read this book. But it's too late because we already living on it. So you just need to see.
Okay. But don't you think we, by
I mean,
acknowledging it, we can reshape reality just by acknowledging what kind of period we are living in?
I didn't understand your question, but can you tell me again? Because also I wanted to tell you.
No, then proceed.
That statement was kind of things that you said just before. Like we are living in a crazy positivism and rational things that we kind of, I can also interpret it on it like this. We kind of miss the ontological part of the human. We have to think again about our beings, because we are really attached to so many objects already, and even phone is part of our body. Everything now is part of our body, and you know we are as soon as we open our eyes, we see so many objects around us, so many objects.
So true.
So that's why we kind of messed up in this situation. I think maybe just a little solution, maybe just reason. We already missed the reason. Because when reason, I mean, how do you say, you know what, I can say positivism and science nowadays is overcoming mind and human being and reason. So it's growing up, as you said. Sometimes this is the not balance. So I think maybe we need this. And I think interesting to talking about thinking. We start this conversation about thinking. I don't remember exactly what we wanted to say.
No, but I agree, because from one side I see the age of technology, okay, so the supreme of rationality. On the other side, I see events and episodes that I consider completely irrational. And I'm talking about the wars, the crimes that we are registering, but also the new movements like anti-vaccines, flat earth movements, that's something that in the past nobody would have ever thought about. Okay, in the Middle Age, what we are not even in the Middle Age, in the ancient Greeks time, okay, Eratosthenes, like he had demonstrated the distance between the Earth and the Moon, the Earth and the Sun. He made some mistakes, but he never had thought that the Earth was flat. So now, from one side, I feel we are completely overstated by algorithms, and this leads to the spurs of irrational behaviors. That's horrible. And
I understood what you mean.
I don't know. I don't know if you're
I
if
agree.
we're late. I don't know if we're late to
No,
Sophie's movement. Or
Okay,
but
no.
I like this is
No,
what.
let
Mhm.
me
Okay.
tell you this. Just late doesn't mean we cannot do anything.
Okay.
Late means that takes.
Okay.
It's already over because we are living on the things that they were thinking about it.
Okay, so it's not a prediction because it's a nowcast. It's not a forecast.
Since
it's a nowcast.
I mean everything that we are faced in nowadays,
See?
everything that you said, I'm totally agree with it. Is exactly based on
Very.
yes.
Very. What do you sorry? Do you want to say something?
no,
Because I have a final question for you.
Oh, do you want me to finish the?
See, go.
Because
If you can go to the conclusion.
no, also it was also a part of our conversation. Maybe I can finish this one because I wanted to tell you this specific sentence now, and maybe it can bring us another idea.
Sure.
And when you see this darkness of the Francis Goya paintings, or even at the same time these pre-Raphaelites, they are so beautiful, so interesting painting based on the color and really detailed, perfect. At the same time, this has some darkness because we cannot never reach that beautiful world. Our world is like this.
See.
So it's just a painting. It's just a word that pre-Raphaelite guys like I forgot some of them okay, I don't remember now. Anyways, this darkness creates a moment of tragedy. Create a moment of the really we cannot that when we see it we cannot move it. We cannot move because even I can prove it in another painting of Francis Goya, the dog.
See.
If you see this painting, you cannot move. You just fix.
I have never seen it. I must go
So
watch
dark, super dark. You can call it black painting. You have to see it in 80-20. But you know what? This black part of the beings and even the whole universe, this black part
it. See.
already can bring us brightness.
Oh,
Because since we have
How's that
this
possible?
darkness, immediately we can think something can be so beautiful in these dark paintings, this black painting, or in this black life. Because life is, in a sense, it can be super black. It can be nothing. Nothing. Imagine, your life is totally different with a poor guy.
See.
That he never reached, imagine really few necessary and needs, really basic needs.
Then I have a final question for you regarding this brightness sparring from the darkness. You mentioned Tintoretto, you mentioned Raffaello, you mentioned Michelangelo.
Pre-Raphaelos.
Yeah, also, but I want to focus on these three guys for my question.
Okay.
They all belong to the Rinascimento
Yes.
period, 16th century in Italy. And in my opinion, is the best moment in all history for art quality. That's my opinion. I am Italian, of course, I believe that. I am biased, but still I feel like the art production of that period is unmatched. However, if I analyze geopolitical those times, Italy was fragmented in several nations, from the north to the south. okay, and these regions were constantly fighting each other. This weakness was exploited by foreign nations like France to even reach Rome and sack it. Still, this competition between the micronations and the competition between, for example, Raffaello and Michelangelo managed, despite this super toxic environment, despite this war scenario, we had the greatest period in history for art. So I want to ask you, what kind of influence does Dark Age have on art? Does it have an influence? Maybe you can argue that's uncorrelated. Does it actually enhance art? Or on the contrary, it jeopardizes it? Okay, and the Renaissance is just an exception. This is my question for you. My last reflection, I would like to know your opinion about.
Yes. Very nice question. Very interesting question. So you are talking about medieval time?
No, entra. Cioè, apparirai, però, cioè, se non vuoi... Sorry, you can proceed.
Also, we have fan. Do you wanna bring fan to make coolers?
But I think that's the last question.
Okay.
So you don't...
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I feeded the mosquitoes.
Yes, yes, also. There's so many mosquitoes these days in patio. Okay. I really would love to trying to explain it because also these days I'm really interested to Yuval Harari, kind of scientist and philosopher and a scholar from Israel. Do you know Harari?
Can you...
Israeli and Yuval Harari.
No, I don't know.
He already wrote so many interesting books about human. Actually, I would love to just write it because I have to talk about it a little bit. Harari, philosopher. Yes. So
I didn't know him.
Yes, this is the books that he already wrote. Can you
Okay.
tell them in English?
Okay, Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. Nexus, A Brief History. I can't read it, it's too small, but still I see the pattern.
Over the whole history of human, we had dark ages, we had so bright and how do you say, like a newborn of the time.
New.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's clear enough.
Yes, exactly. But today I was just checking my book because maybe I thought maybe in our conversation I need some references, so I brought my books. And suddenly in the morning I just checked the pages and I found these sentences that exactly is really correct for this answering these things. Yes, I'm trying to translate it to
feel
English.
free.
So the rules or the disciplines, I mean the main rules and the main discipline of in any individuality of the people. So the rules that individual people overcome about religion, about metaphysics, about ethic, always make this barrier to make human completely free.
Okay.
All these disciplines. Every time, sometimes religion, sometimes ethical things, sometimes all these rules that society and this civilization of the human that exactly we need it. We are totally living. We cannot get rid of it anymore. Maybe planets can explode our Earth to get rid of this. So Johan will talk about human. I want to brief it. Human is the only species that, based on the language and based on talking, based on things, we come up with some rules and disciplines and some conventions.
Okay.
For example, since we are living in society, in a group of people, we can be more survive in fighting with a bear.
Okay. See.
Yes, but individual person with one dwarf, for sure, animal can, because we cannot live in singularity.
I agree.
In individual. So in society we live. In society we talk.
Yeah.
We make rules.
Like Aristotle, if you are alone, you are either a beast or God. Okay, there is no.
Exactly.
We need society. I
So
agree.
this thinking might talk about it and make a conventions like money. So you cannot go to the chimpanzee and give a paper and take some bananas.
See.
Yes.
See.
Yes. So I think since we are living in this history of a human that we overcome always to the previous human mind, to the previous human ideas, to the previous things, is like a renaissance for the medieval time. Every time this darkness is like exactly Hegelian thesis, antithesis and synthesis.
Synthesis, okay.
So this synthesis, if we just want to understand it, it works like this. So every time these syntheses sometimes become an ideology, and then another thesis overcome and
True.
break this darkness, and every time human bring new brightness. Freud puts human into the darkness and brought human again in a brightness at the same time.
That's a very elegant way to see it.
Yes.
I like it. I think it's a very nice system of viewing the evolution of humanity.
Super complex.
So,
And even just the last sentence, as you mentioned, in a city living in a civilization this moment, imagine before how we lived in Renaissance, in Greek time. Imagine how human was super developed, like Aristotle. No, the people, Kant, every people, Heidegger. Just 50 years ago, some painters like Francis Bacon or Lucian Freud or Overbach or these guys. Okay, I just wanted to mention, if we think about this mindset of the human that always overcoming another ideas and bringing new ideas like another renaissance and other things, and also living in a society and things, and all these civilization and all this background of the human with the new complex layer of the civilization that we have now. This phone, metro, all these objects around us, this microphone. These are really dramatic layers that make this living more complex in my mind. I don't agree with the
but
technology.
now are also necessary.
I'm not really against the technology and this development. I never been.
I know, of course.
Because this is the things that we need, yes? But in general, I think we need to overcome it again. We need to think about it more again and also break these ideas that we have to overcome it again.
I can see it.
Yes.
I can see it. Thank you for this reflection. for these
Yes.
observations. I think I'm gonna need time to digest them,
Yes.
sort of to metabolize them.
Can I also introduce this book?
Ah, certo, show
This
it.
is the translation of the What is the Beauty by Mark Jimenez. Yes, the translation. in
We're
Persian.
not paid by him. Is he live?
I don't know, but I mean, this is in Persian translation, so even
Okay.
people can find it in English for sure.
Okay.
In any
Okay,
Mark Jimenez.
thank you.
This is so
Is it a
interesting.
good read? Good read?
Yes, so easy to read, and also I mean, is what is the beauty in philosophy, art, and all these literature.
Thank you then. Thank you. Bella.
I just wanted to add something that was interesting for me, and in the previous one we didn't talk about it. So we were talking about writing and text because in my mind this is kind of the reason and also rational things that a human can do.
Okay.
As we talked even before, like art, like painting, like musician, music, and all these languages, people create this. Any language, even conversation. If we just imagine conversation and talking and sound and voices that we have, it's kind of how do we say? Imagine it's the art.
Okay.
So we even making art.
Okay.
So even when we talk, so imagine you write your ideas, you express it in music, you express it in paintings. So every time that you want to explain your word, it's so interesting. And the text and writing and literature for me is one of the most amazing things, because because I can have an example like animals. Imagine a chimpanzee.
See?
You can see a chimpanzee go to the forest and suddenly he found a banana tree, and he just came to the friends and he can talk to them and he can say, oh, I found banana trees over there in the forest, let's go there and eat food. But they cannot never write about it. They cannot never make a story about
That's
it.
a very good point, yeah. So it's like if you cannot write about it, you cannot make a story about it. It's like it never happened, if you think about it.
And for me, text writing every time is like an image. Every time I can imagine everything that I wrote, that I read before. Like even I can imagine how Heidegger was writing these sentences, and even how painters do these paintings, and we can see their work. We can see really easy their work, like an image. Every time they produce some images, music also has some music. It has some image inside.
Sure.
Has some even smells.
Like it.
And then
Sure.
memories. So all these for me are like, and thinking for me is like a top level of the human action.
Okay.
Even before we talk
Of
about
living.
Yes, of living. Anytime thinking about something. No, I'm not talking about be like aggressive or be like how do you say, under pressure on thinking about something. Just as a free human, you can think about yourself, you can think about something around you, you can think about your mother, you can think about really thinking as an action in the world. So every time that I read a book or write or writing a text or reading a text, for me it's an amazing moment in the human history that I can see their world, I can see how do they see the world, and as a text sometimes it's so beautiful that you write. Even this text for me is so beautiful image.
I like it.
So human as a thinking mind has the ability to write something.
Sì.
This is so interesting for me.
I like this observation.
Yes.
Thank you.